Hello, this is a video request from Will, who's requested that I teach Green Day's Amy song. Now, the song's in the key of G flat major, and so we can find all the chords we need within that key. This itself is the G flat major. It's an A-shaped bar chord made on the 9th fret. Now, the theory behind that is you can take your standard open A chord. This is the way I play it. Some people, and especially when you're beginning, you get taught to play it with three fingers that way or that way. And they're all in the 2nd fret, and the notes being pressed down are the C sharp, which is on the 2nd fret 2nd string, the A, which is on the 2nd fret 3rd string, and the E, which is on the 2nd fret 4th string. But you don't really need to know that. Now, the thing is, this is the way it works. A sharp or B flat, B, C, because there's no accidental between B and C, and E and F. I tell my students bad cats eat fish. That's the way you can tell which ones don't have an accidental between them. And then we go C sharp or D flat, D, okay, which is on the 5th fret now, with my first finger on the 5th fret. It's just like having a capo, okay? D sharp or E flat, E. Now we know bad cats eat fish, so F, okay? And that brings us up to F sharp or G flat, okay? Now that's the root chord of the key, the tonic chord. But it's not the first chord in this piece. This piece starts on the E flat minor, okay? And this is exactly the same principle. It's an A minor shape. This is like an A minor. It's been barred and moved up to the 6th fret. So you could try the same thing. Go to your A minor. A lot of people play it like that, with the first finger on the 2nd fret, the 1st fret, but 2nd string rather, and the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, and the 3rd finger on the 2nd fret 3rd string. Now the only difference is, because we need to use our first finger as a bar, we'll have to refinger that. So we refinger it with 2, 3, and 4, okay? And now we have A sharp or B flat, B. These chords are great because you can move them anywhere and get a lot of bang for your buck. C. These are all minor, by the way. C minor, A minor, A sharp minor. Sounds really advanced, but really you don't have to be playing long, and you can work out these really cool things if you just slow down and think your way through it. B minor, C minor, C sharp minor or D flat minor, D minor, D sharp minor or E flat minor, E minor. What's this one going to be? It's going to be F minor, because E goes straight to F, okay? But we've gone past the one we needed. We needed the E flat minor on the 6th fret. And that's going to an E minor shape of B flat minor. This is E minor here. We've just refingered it, same way as with the A minor. F minor, because E goes straight to F. F sharp minor, G minor, G sharp minor, or A flat minor. They've all got the flat of the one that's coming next, the sharp of the one that's been before, the flat of the one that's coming next. A, B flat minor, or A sharp minor. But because this is a flat key, G flat, we're going to call it B flat minor. Okay, so now we have this cool little quasi bossa nova pattern that's played in this song. And it goes like this. Okay, now that's an important thing to master, because he uses the exact same pattern the whole way through. So I would encourage you all to spend a bit of time getting it entirely correct, because once you get it correct, you'll have the song. Whereas you often hear a lot of people sort of faking these things, and it never sounds quite legit at the end of the day. Now, the way he does, I'm just going to move down so that you can really see this. The way that it's done is like this. Just move that down a little bit further so you can see that. Now, this is the E flat minor chord here, 6th fret A minor shape. And we're going to go bass, fingers. Okay, so the fingers are on the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th strings. And we call this P, the thumb, I for the index, M for the middle finger, and A for the ring finger. So we got, I'm going to call it thumb, fingers, okay? Because in this bossa nova style pattern, the thumb and the fingers are often working as separate agents. The thumb's sort of doing the bass, and the fingers are doing the chords, okay? So we have bass, chord, or thumb, finger, and that one straight after the fingers is a ghosted note. So you get, did you hear it? It was like hard to hear because it's ghosted. It just gives that, you know, a nice bit of percussive effect. There it is, that ghost. I just play it with my thumb on the 5th string, but I don't actually, I'm just going to move in close so you guys can see, I don't actually press down very hard in my left hand so that you get this ghosted sound. And then the next one that follows is a legit full note. So, okay, so we get, and then the last one is interesting because he varies it a bit. Often he does another ghost, so it's like bass, chord, bass, which is the ghosted one, then a real bass, chord, and then a ghost. But on the very first time, he actually goes and plays that open E. If you listen really closely, you'll hear that he plays that, but it sounds not that egregious because he plays it very quickly. So you get, but I think you'll agree that's exactly what's happening when you hear it like that. It sounds exactly right. And if you slow down what he's playing, you'll hear that open E. Okay? So you've got bass, chord, ghost, bass, chord, ghost, or on the first time, that open E if you want to be very picky and get it exactly the same. Bass, chord, ghost, bass, chord, bass or ghost, depending on which one you're doing. Bass, chord, bass, chord, ghost, bass, chord, bass or ghost, bass, chord, together, okay? So you get bass, chord, together, bass, chord, bass, and then you start again. So that is bass, chord, ghost, bass, chord, together, bass, chord, bass. And that time I did it with a ghost because he does it with a ghost every other time. And I did the ghost on the 6th string, just so you know. See, and that ghosted note is a good one because sometimes you can do a bit of that. Bass, chord, on the ghost, slap, ghost, like that. Like that. So it really gives it a whole sense of percussiveness. He doesn't do the slap very often though. He just waits. Okay, so that goes twice from E flat minor to B flat minor. Okay, and then you go up to your G flat major, which, as you guys remember, is on the 9th fret with the A major shaped bar chord. Okay, so we're back on the A major shaped bar chord on the 9th fret. And that's why it's really important to learn that pattern, because it's the exact same the whole way through. So I won't go through that again because it might be boring some people. But the thing is, if you just practice that bit I showed first, then you just have to apply it to the next, to all that follows, and you'll have it exactly right. Okay, so we have. Okay, and then to E flat minor. Okay, so we go G flat major, E flat minor, C flat, which is just another name for B major. It's a 7th fret chord, bar chord based on an E major shape. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, B, and B is also called C flat. And this key, G flat major, if you want to be uber correct, you have to call it that. You have to call it C flat rather than B, because we've already got a representative from B, which is the B flat minor. Remember that in any diatonic key, it can only have one representative of each letter name. So only one type of B, only one type of C. So in this key, we've got a B flat and we've got a C flat, but we can't have a B flat and a B natural, which is why I'm calling this, even though you guys know that it's also called B, I'm calling it C flat. Okay, so we get. So that's the first, what I would call the first phrase, okay? Sorry. Bass chord, bass, bass, chord goes bass chord. And then, but the second time, instead of going down to that E flat minor like it does the first phrase, the second phrase is like this. Bass chord, ghost, bass chord, bass, ghost. Exactly the same as the introduction. B flat minor this time, so it's changed. And then C flat major, which is the E major shape. And he does a slided bass that time, where it's in the introduction, it's the ghosted note that I told you about. He does a slided note to the D flat major chord. D flat, I don't think we've had it so far. It's an easy thing to do since you guys know already this shape. It's the E major bar chord shape, and it's on the 9th fret. So we've got D flat major. Okay, so that what I would call the consequent phrase. So G flat, B flat minor, C flat major, D flat major is just 2 frets up. And then we start again. And the antecedent phrase, the first part, is exactly the same as the first time through. But on the second repeat of this theme, the consequent phrase changes, and it's a real masterstroke. It makes the piece really sound final, whereas in the first time, it ends on a half cadence, so it doesn't sound as complete, which is really great composing from Green Day here. So consequent phrase. That's what's different, okay? Instead of having the C flat major for 1 bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and then the D flat major, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they have them in the space of one bar, they have the C flat, D flat major, and then the G flat major. And that bit deserves a bit of an explanation too. When you get to that just before the chorus, you go 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So that's bass chord, bass, bass chord. Bass chord, bass, bass together, I should say. Okay, and then Amy, don't you go. Okay, so let me play the whole thing for you guys, and please feel free to post your responses in terms of video responses would be great of yourselves playing it. Okay. Bass chord, bass, bass. This is the slide. Exactly the same as the first time, but now this is different, just a little bit. In one bar. Okay, well, I hope that helped, and if there's demand, I will post the chorus and that little funny middle section next time. Thanks very much.